Hi everyone, this is Ronnie from Everything Vive. I'm here at E3 2018. Just got to check out Microdose VR. Literally, I'm speechless, and I just told the guys that before I hit the record button on this phone. But literally, I just walked out of an experience, and my mind was blown. I had lots of questions, lots of wondering what the behind the scenes magic was that was kind of allowing me to experience what I was experiencing. And rather than me I really want them to kind of share with you, I guess, what they're trying to create, and then we'll go from there. So first, if you guys could just briefly introduce yourselves.
I'm Evan Bartholomew. I am the wizard of the audio realms for Microdose VR.
And I'm Scott Hedstrom, the technical director.
Okay, so I guess before we get into the details of Microdose VR itself, you guys were kind of telling me a little bit about yourselves and what brought you to the team.
So yeah, we all four of the main partners have kind of been in and around the underground festival and kind of alternative consciousness scene and worked on various projects together. The whole team has worked together on projects. We've worked two or three of us on other projects. Microdose VR, we make a big joke that the band's back together again. We've known each other more than a decade and worked on various creative projects. This is the one that kind of brings all of our talents to the table, and we're building the Lego Death Star together, and everything plugs in and fits in its own way. So
very cool. And yeah, I mean, what led you to? What inspired you to create Microdose itself? Because the experience I got to try, and I know it's just kind of a very sneak peek at some of the technology and the tools that you guys are developing now. But what brought you to this point that you're at right now?
So maybe about 10 years ago, we were working on Dreamcatcher.net, which was a social network we were making together. That was one of our first big projects we all did together. And as a stage of that, we were making this thing called Dreamfields, which was an augmented reality creative experience that you'd have together. And we kind of concepted it out 10 years ago, but the technology just was not anywhere near available at the time. And years and years and years go by, and we go in and out of working on stuff together, and finally have this catalyzing moment where we realize we need to do the Power Rangers connecting bot thing and just be one big entity that can do all the stuff together. And the obvious jump-off point was to...
Okay, so we all actually worked on an anime project, a story called Illuminated that our other partner Fong had written, which is about a character that basically plays in the dream realm at night, and through technology people tune in and watch her experiences in the dream realm. So 10 years later, we're actually building the technology that was a narrative story we all worked on together in an anime 10 years ago.
Yeah, we never thought
it would be possible to build this. So we can go and watch the anime?
It never actually got released.
Yeah.
You can find the trailer, though. If you look up Illuminated,
okay.
You can find the trailer.
And the trailer on its own is the whole experience.
It
enough.
is Microdose.
It's enough.
Whoa. Yeah.
Well, it's a glimpse into the world that that our partner Fong had created, and I know it's not, Illuminated is not over, at least the ideas behind it. Right now, the reason we were working together was to raise the money to make the movie, which at that time was insane amounts of money to make an animated film 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But now we all know all the tech, and who knows what will come in the future.
And we're actually creating the technology that was part of the narrative story.
Man, so what was it like? I mean, how did you go from the narrative story to deciding why don't we...
I mean, so it was an anime project that, got to a certain point of development. There was issues with funding and investors, and it never actually got fully realized. But literally the story, the technology that the story is about, of this dream star that plays Basically
she
plays
at
her
night.
Dreams at night, and anybody can tune in and
you
watch
design your own dream in it. And so the people who design and live their dreams the most amazingly become dream stars. And it's like the new social network. Everyone at night tunes in to your dream, and instead of you dreaming yourself, you just experience the dream.
And there's literally people out there that are amazing. They're all watching it.
So we actually are building that technology now.
Well, Vive and Oculus and these guys built the technology.
We're not building the hardware.
We're making the worlds that they would be in.
No, but yeah. So I mean, getting back to like what you before we started this interview told me like you really need to just try microdose yourself to kind of and I agree because like you said, it's like you're in a dream state almost in terms of.
I call it a flow state simulator.
I can explain microdose. I can talk around it, but it's one of those things like how do you tell a person who's never danced what dancing is? You can't really talk about dancing. You have to dance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like people need to have the microdose experience. Then, okay, cool, you have that base level of like, as you said, speechless. You had an experience. I think you probably connected with the like deeper flow state of yourself. Mm-hmm. Now we can talk about that thing that we're trying to chase.
Guys, do you
it's
have
like
a lighter?
literally trying to engineer mystical experience that's accessible to anybody. There's no barrier of entry. There's no chemical barrier of entry. Anybody can step into an experience of
little
deeper
kids and
self
grandpas.
and being in the flow.
Yeah, how do you go about doing that? Because like I said, right now, just me playing it and then trying to experience in words what I experience, it's really hard for me, right?
Well,
how as a developer?
That's why I've been really focusing that everything you see here is a application of the technology we're developing. The most important part is the technology that allows somebody to create their own mystical experience.
So as a developer, like how do you tackle how did you try to get the essence of those mystical experiences?
So it's for artists. All of us have had career in the arts for 15, 20 years. That's our mutual meeting ground, is that all of us know what it's like to be in a deep flow state where something bigger than you is coming through you. You're in the studio creating whatever it is that your form is.
Yeah.
You lose track of time. You forget to feed your body. Next thing you know, you turn around and you're like, I don't know what that is that just came out of me, but it's something bigger than me.
I was part of it in a way, but something more was pushing it.
That's the mutuality that the four partners have together, is that we all know that experience. That's the thing that we're seeking in our lives.
To get to that state requires this emptiness of mind, which some people get through going to the forest and taking a walk, or going to a monastery and meditating.
Other things.
So we're working on using technology to help induce that state to people who would never otherwise find that. And so we don't even have to tell them, hey, this will put you in a similar state to meditation. We put the headset on them, and in 2 minutes go
exactly
by
why
and they're
I said,
in.
Go play microdose, then we'll do the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, I could tell I was getting to the point where if I let myself go just a little bit more, that I was going to completely lose track of time. I knew you guys were out here waiting for me.
We weren't waiting for you. We actually wanted you to have as much time as you needed. So.
No, and I appreciate that. But
if we don't take some people out,
Yeah.
they will go for hours and not even realize. Like at some festivals in Burning Man, when there's nobody in line and somebody's really feeling it, I'll just let them go as long as they will go. And they will go until we bring them out.
And you guys explained to me you guys had like a kind of a crazy setup with Microdose at Coachella, right? Is that what Burning Man?
No, Coachella we had a big dome experience that was made using our technology, a film that we had there. But at their sister festival, Panorama
Festival, we had 5 of these dodecahedrons with a capstone and a multiplayer rig. So you could be creating, if you looked out on the horizon, you could see what somebody else was creating and fly towards them and see their particles.
And the entire world is being projected onto a dome that everyone else can experience while they're waiting in line.
That's so crazy.
And that's what's going to be happening in this dome here, is that you'll be able to take off the HMD, the actual headset, stand in the dome, and we kind of jokingly refer to it as IR, immersive reality, where you can just move the controllers and your virtual experience is being projected on the dome that everyone can experience.
Wow.
So, which, when you think of that in a large scale concert setting, that's one of the future
VR is for the
applications of what we're building.
The like single player, even connected with others through other VR headsets, but a single player can do it at home.
Yeah.
But with these massive domes, you can start. I mean, it's actually having it in a small dome. It replaces the headset almost, and then everyone in there can see the full experience that you're experiencing, but you don't have to wear a headset, and you're just in the world.
It's one of the big barriers of entry, I think, for large-scale virtual reality adoption, is that it by its actual nature, is an individual experience that you don't share with other people. So one of the ways we've tackled that is to create a multiplayer virtual experience. The next way to tackle that, which we actually debuted at last E3, was
The dome,
immersive reality. Take off the headset. Your individual experience becomes a collective experience that everybody can be a part of.
And in order to implement that, do you have to have like a specific dome structure that's like that works with your technology,
we have
or
a custom output plugin that's outputting to a format that's projected into full dome.
Okay. So, how large can it go with how you guys?
I mean, at
currently?
Coachella we had a 500-person dome. Yeah,
we had
we're in talks with.
foot dome.
We're in talks about building a system that's going to be used for 20,000 person dome.
Okay, let's just rewind. Don't get ahead of yourself. It's only 18,000.
18,000.
I'm sorry. I rounded up. But really, it all just depends on the dome. We work with Full Dome Pro.
The output is there. It's literally just the projector setup and the rigs that are running the projectors.
Okay. And we've been having really good experience. We've just luckily had the most amazing dome crew. They have this amazing company called Full Dome Pro, and they make these domes. That one's right here. We pretty much just all go to all these events together. These guys are amazing. They have their tech is better than any I've seen. And they just are able to make these. I've seen so Coachella. They made that dome, and it was 90 feet or 90 meters or 180 feet, and you could fit 550 something people in there.
Wow.
And they all would watch the experience together.
Whoa.
You know?
And then is there a single person driving these?
No, so for that one, is the film I was talking about. We made a short experience using Microdose VR.
Okay.
And outputted in a full dome mode as a film. Because one of our partners, he and the Dome Company had created this short film called Samskara, which is a collection of all of his artwork put into this story of the Vedas and stuff. And
I've heard of that. Yeah, I think I'm familiar with that.
They're playing it in there.
Okay.
And so just because that had already been a thing, we were like, okay, let's make dome content. And then the situation with the whole Coachella was like bring out the VR and make some dome video. And so we spent a few months just using our software, building an experience, and output it all, throw it in the dome, and then that's right. If you could have one guy driving 500 people in a dome, but it's a little more.
The future is real time, and like not only real time, but we've partnered with a couple different companies exploring like biofeedback and EEG technology.
Wow.
It's not only real time, but like literally
Your
people's
body's
state of
creating
mind
it.
controlling.
And I can only imagine what effects that'll have on you, like when it's actually feeding off of you.
When the music syncs to your heartbeat, when
It's like
you start becoming more in touch with your body.
So.
Well, the whole point of our thing, other than to create something amazing, is to connect people with their own creative source that allows them to create amazing things themselves.
Yeah.
And so the more ways we can connect you with this body that is a very amazing creative machine, the better we are off getting you into that state. And so you get into that flow state without the biofeedback. You throw the biofeedback in, and all of a sudden you're realizing how your breath affects
your
the world.
heartbeat, your state of mind.
Yeah.
Like there's a direct when
Even
I get
tension
tense,
in your
the
face.
clouds come in. When I relax and center in my being, like the sun comes
Sunrise,
out.
No, that's the one. Like even without like all those things implemented now, whatever. Like one of the things I noticed that was kind of like a little shocking to me was just you talk about like I know there's a lot of math behind it. There's all kinds of crazy technology, right? But at the end of the day, Microdose VR made me feel like this is one of the most human experiences that I've had in VR.
And we feel like we're like chomping at the bit at the very beginnings of what we want to develop. So
that's amazing.
We've plotted out our roadmap for years in advance, and we've got a long way to take this thing. But even where it's at, I'm really happy with it, and just looking forward to our vision and seeing that unfold and get to everybody. I have good feelings about it.
So for listeners out there, like, what's the best way for them to try to experience this on their own?
So we do a lot of events right now.
Okay.
Music festivals. We're doing a partnership with a company that does VR deployments at hotels and other things. Until it's available in a form to download, beta via Steam or whatever.
Yeah.
Sign up for our mailing list. We let people know, hey, we're going to be at this and this and this event.
Okay.
And you can find that at our website, microdosevr.com.
Okay, awesome.
And on all social media.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. What's the best social media? Like, if people want to know, like, where you guys
Instagram, I'd say, is the best because we post pictures and videos of the experience. So just Microdose VR at Instagram.
Same with Facebook, Microdose VR.
It's all the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All the same.
Well, thank you guys so much. Like, I really enjoyed this, and I can't wait to see more of what you guys are up to in the future. So.
Sweet.
All right. Thank you.